and welcome back. So this is going to be my August TBR. As kind of stated before in my July wrap-up, I'm not entirely sure how many books I'm going to read because I am moving into college. School is starting back up. I don't know particularly what the workload is going to be like that and if I'll have time to read or not. So I move in the 21st, so hopefully before then I can finish one or two books. So I guess we'll just kind of have to wait and see. We're kind of in the gray here. So yeah. Practical Insights for Everyday Christian Living, Ephesians by Joyce Meyer. This book, it was given to me for a graduation present from one of my friend's parents. It is a closer dive into the book of Ephesians in the Bible. So what I've been doing is I've been reading a chapter a day. These chapters are really tiny, so I don't expect to finish this book anytime soon. I'm just letting you guys know. I'm just reading it, so you know. So yeah, so far I'm really enjoying this book. I'm not too far in, but I have managed to tab a few things there, if you can see. I'm enjoying it so far. The insights is really well done. So yeah. The Stormcrow by Kaylin Josephson. This book I'm almost done with. I'm either going to be finishing it tonight or tomorrow or soon, but I really love this book so much. Oh my goodness, I didn't think I was going to love it. I just kind of picked it up because I'm like, hey, it's 20% off. It's like $7. It's YA fantasy. Let's do it. And I am thoroughly enjoyed. Like, I'm not even done with this book yet, and I'm telling you right now, this is one of the most underrated YA fantasy books I've ever read. I haven't seen a lot of things like on the internet or anything like that. This book deserves more recognition than it's getting right now. Honestly, this is so good. I love the writing. I love the characters. It's just amazing, and I can't even describe it to you. The main character, Thaya, I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce it. I read it just fine in my head like I do every other character, but I can't say it, but you know. So her kingdom, Roderi, something like that. What is it called? Rod. Okay, the kingdom Rod is attacked by the Aleutians, which is their main rival, and all the towers that house the crows and stuff like that are destroyed. So all the crows are destroyed, most of the riders are killed and stuff like that. But one day among the rubble, she finds a crow egg, and it is up to her to hatch it and raise it and give her people hope. But she has to do this in a foreign country because she's marrying Erican, who is the Aleutian prince, and his mother is a terrible person. And yeah, so I actually really like Erican. At first I thought he was just going to be like the run-of-the-mill, you know, I don't have a problem killing thousands of your people, I could care less type of bad guy. And then I thought he was going to be that stereotypical hate to love kind of relationship where there's this huge change in him and stuff like that, but that doesn't particularly happen. And I was pleasantly surprised by that. I really enjoyed that part of it. So yeah, the book is kind of picking up. I'm reaching the climax soon, and I know for sure that I'm most likely going to be reading the sequel. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I recommend this book to anyone who likes fantasy or YA fantasy because this book is amazing and it deserves more recognition. That's all I'm saying. Korval by Stephanie Garber. This book I'm actually really enjoying too. This was one of those books that when it first came out, I kind of interested me, but I never picked it up, and then I recently picked it up. And oh my goodness, I'm so glad that I did. I don't know what it is and why I don't read more books like this, but I've always been interested in like the crazy circus type atmosphere, like BioShock, if that makes sense, like stuff like that. You know, where everyone's just kind of crazy, they're just having a fun time. But there are these people who like fit certain themes, like a fortune teller, but it's a spin on a fortune teller and stuff like that. So for those of you who don't know, Carla has been writing letters to Legend, who is the mastermind behind Korval the game. And he finally gives her tickets to go. He gives her 3 tickets, one for her, one for her sister Tella, and then the third for her soon-to-be husband, the Count, that he literally doesn't have a name, it's just the Count. So, Tella decides to go without her one day, and she's forced to go with this sailor named Julian. He is the person in high school who knows that he's good looking and is not afraid to say it or show it. And usually those type of characters bug me all to heck, and I hate those characters. I'm just like, okay. But no, in this one, it actually is pulled off relatively well. We're starting to, I'm almost midway through right there. We're starting to kind of delve into the past of Scarlet and Julian, because Tella is actually captured on Korval, and that's the game. You find Tella, you win the game, you get a free wish. Julian has played once before, and this isn't a spoiler, he says it early on in the book. Julian has played once before, and he lost, but he wants to win this time, and Scarlet just wants her sister back. But Julian is warning Scarlet, hey, Legend is not all that he seems. Like, this dude ain't a nice dude, particularly. He's kind of bad. So, whatever. So, yeah, I'm actually really enjoying this book. I'm most likely, it depends how this ends, I'm going to be reading the sequel to this, which is called Legend. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that I waited this long to read it, because this is a really good book. I'm having fun reading this book. The atmosphere is great. It's one of those atmospheres that you don't see a lot. I wouldn't classify this as a YA fantasy, but it could also be classified as a YA fantasy, but it's not. You get what I mean. But like the atmosphere and the setting is just not something that's commonly written about in YA, if that makes sense. At least not that I'm aware, that I've read or anything like that. So yeah, it's almost like a breath of fresh air. I'm definitely recommending this one, and I'm not even done with it. So, Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I haven't started this book. It just interested me. It's about this girl named Elizabeth who is kind of raised, and the only way I can kind of think to describe it is like a really kind of religious, strict church, if that makes sense. For any of you guys who have read Wicked Saints, I imagine it's something like that, where they hold like these ancient scrolls and stuff like that to heart, and then magic is really bad, but one day these evil spirits are let out of their castle or library or whatever, and Elizabeth is accused for treason. So she has to run away with a person named Nathaniel Thorne, who is a sorcerer. So that kind of goes against everything. I can definitely see a love-to-hate relationship going on here. I don't know. This premise just really interested me. It's a beautiful cover. I can't really comment on anything too much because I haven't read it. I haven't really read a lot of reviews for it. I know at one point it was really popular, and then it recently came out in paperback in my store. At least I saw it come out in paperback in my store, so I picked it up. So yeah, this one is really interesting me. Yet again, it's a YA fantasy, but I'm just in a YA fantasy type of mood, so it chill. So hopefully I can get to this one this month, because it's just been sitting there this entire month just kind of staring at me. So yeah, hopefully I can start and finish this. An Enchantment of Ravens, also by Margaret Rogerson. This book is about a girl named Isobel. It's spelled weirdly, so I'm going to pronounce it weirdly. Who is a painter, and she paints things, and her paintings kind of come to life, and they show certain things. I believe they move. And so she paints the prince, and she actually paints sorrow in his eyes, which is seen as a weakness. So she's being hunted down. The prince is being hunted down. They have to join together to try and save both their lives, but then they're both kind of attacked. So yeah, I can definitely see this being a love-to-hate relationship here. This book, from what I've read, I believe this is an urban fantasy. I think Isobel is in our world, and then she goes to Rook's. I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't explicitly say that, but that's kind of what it sounds like from the description on the back there. So that's what I'm assuming. I'm not a big fan of urban fantasies. I've read the Cruel Prince, and one of the downsides for me in that book was it wasn't urban fantasy, and there was like a scene or two where they went back to our world, and I was like, no, stay with the fairies. I don't care about this world. Go back to the magic. It's why I picked up a YA fantasy book, because I want to read about the fantasy. Like, that's literally just why I picked it up. I don't want to read about this world. I don't care about this world. I live in this world. Take me to another world. So hopefully it doesn't spend too much time in our world, and hopefully spend more time in Rook's world. But yeah, I've heard mixed reviews about this book. I've heard that this is kind of boring or not well constructed, and I've also heard it's a really great book. It's not the biggest book. It's definitely smaller than what I was expecting. But despite those negative reviews, this plot is so enchanting and interesting to me that, like, I'm just like, I don't care what the rating is on Goodreads. Like, I want to read this book. This interests me. I'm gonna read it. Okay? So yeah, I bought it because I want to read it. I really want to get to this book first, but first I need to finish the Stormcrow, Korval, and then I can start the Sorcery of Thorns and Enchantment of Ravens. So yeah, hopefully I get to this one. I really want to get to it, so fingers crossed. So that was my TBR for August, and yes, I am fully aware that 3 books on that 5-book TBR I have started already, but I went to the bookstore today and I had to refrain from buying more books because I am moving soon and I don't want to overhaul myself and that kind of stuff. There is a bookstore near my campus, so I can just go there when I need, but I kind of just want to, you know, bring the list down for this month, so when I move, I'm not moving an entire bookcase with me. So yeah, it's not the biggest TBR. I don't expect to really read a lot, but I feel like the selection of books that I do have are really, really good. So sometimes I guess quality is more important than quantity. That's what I'm hoping to get out of this month. Because the Stormcrow I really like, Korval I really like, Ephesians I really like, and then I want to like the other 2. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see. So this is going to be a really interesting month. And I have no idea what my wrap-up is going to look like. So we're just going to have to wait and see it together. We're going to do this together. Thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And it would mean the world to me if you followed me on all my other social media, such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Those will be listed down in the description below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!